Hello, I'm Jackie. Michael Jackson is one of my personal favorites. To me, he was the greatest entertainer of all time. He changed music, dance, and stage performance forever. But behind the bright lights, his life was full of pain. This is the story of Michael Jackson, the king of pop. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on 29th August 1958 in Gary, Indiana, in the USA. He was the 8th of 10 children in a poor, working-class African-American family. His father, Joe Jackson, was very strict. He was known to push his children to perform, sometimes with harsh discipline. Michael and his brothers, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, and Marlon, formed a group called the Jackson's Five. Even as a child, Michael stood out as the lead singer. Their first big hits, I Want You Back, ABC, and I'll Be There, made them stars across America. Michael was just 11 years old when he first appeared on American television, but his voice and energy amazed the world. As Michael grew older, he wanted to step out of his brother's shadow. He wanted a solo career. With the help of producer Quincy Jones, he began his solo career. In 1979, he released Off the Wall, which gave him #1 hits like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You. But the real breakthrough came in 1982 with the album Thriller. To this day, Thriller remains the best-selling album of all time. With over 66 million copies sold worldwide, the album had legendary hits like Beat It, Billie Jean, and of course the song Thriller. With its groundbreaking music video, the dance, Unforgettable Dance. Michael Jackson changed the way music videos were made. He turned them into short films full of dance and drama. His work with Quincy Jones created a new standard for pop music. Michael was not just a singer. He was a dancer, a showman. He introduced the world to the moonwalk, a move no one had seen before. His concerts were spectacles, lights, choreography, costumes. Every detail was perfect. Soon enough, he became known as the king of pop because no other artist matched his impact on music, dance, and live shows. But behind the fame, Michael lived in pain. In 1984, during a Pepsi commercial shoot, fireworks exploded too close and set his hair on fire. He suffered serious burns to his scalp. After surgery, he began using strong painkillers. Over time, he became dependent on prescription drugs. In the 1990s, Michael faced his darkest scandal. He was accused of child molestation. The first case in 1993 was settled out of court. In 2005, a second case went to full trial. Michael defended himself in court and was found not guilty on all charges. But still, the damage to his reputation was great. The endless media coverage painted him as a strange and suspicious person. Michael withdrew from public life. He rarely gave interviews, rarely appeared in public, and lived in isolation at his Neverland Ranch. He was both the most famous man in the world and the most lonely. Michael's personal life was always under the spotlight. In 1994, he married Lisa Marie Presley, the daughter of Elvis Presley. Their marriage lasted 2 years. Later, in 1996, he married Debbie Rowe, a nurse. Together, they had 2 children, Prince Michael Jackson and Paris Jackson. A third child, Prince Michael II, also known as Blanket, was born through a surrogate. In spite of everything going on in his life, Michael loved his children deeply. They were his joy and his legacy. Michael's lifestyle was very expensive. He bought art, animals, and kept a huge number of staff. By the 2000s, he was in debt. He had to sell parts of his beloved Neverland Ranch and even part of the rights to his music catalog. Michael was not only a performer, he was also a clever businessman. In the 1980s, he shocked the music world when he bought the publishing rights to the Beatles catalog, meaning he owned their music. He later partnered with Sony to create Sony ATV Music Publishing, one of the biggest publishing companies in the world. At one point, Michael Jackson controlled the rights to hundreds of famous songs, making him one of the most powerful men in the music industry. By 2009, Michael decided to stage a comeback. He announced a massive series of concerts in London called This Is It. 50 shows were sold out within hours. Fans around the world were ready for a return of the King of Pop. But preparing for these shows pushed Michael to the limit. He was 50 years old, under stress, and struggling with a lack of sleep. He could not sleep. To sleep, Michael relied on his doctor, Conrad Murray. Murray gave him drugs every night, including propofol, a powerful anesthetic normally used in hospitals, never in a home. Michael called it his milk.
Allegedly.
Michael and Dr. Conrad Murray developed a dangerous routine. Michael would lie in his bed, hooked to an IV line. He was given propofol while connected to an oxygen mask just to fall asleep. This became their way of managing his lack of sleep. But it was not safe. Propofol is an anesthetic only to be used in hospital under supervision, with machines to monitor the heart and lungs. Michael had none of that at home. On June 25, after rehearsing for his This Is It concert, Michael returned home past midnight. He told Murray he needed sleep. Murray gave him more sedatives, then finally another dose of propofol. Michael drifted into unconsciousness. But without the proper machines to monitor him, his breathing slowed, then stopped. By the time help was called, it was too late. At 2:26 p.m. that day, Michael Jackson, the King of Pop, was declared dead. Doctors ruled his death a homicide, caused by acute propofol intoxication. Conrad Murray was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in 2011 because he should have known better as a doctor. Conrad Murray served 2 years in prison for the manslaughter of Michael Jackson. Michael's memorial service was watched by an estimated 2.5 billion people worldwide, one of the largest audiences in history. Fans cried across every continent. Even in death, Michael Jackson proved he was the biggest star in the world. To this day, Michael Jackson remains the greatest entertainer of all time. He gave the world timeless music, unforgettable dance, and live performances that will never be matched. From the little boy in Gary, Indiana, to the global king of pop, his journey was full of brilliance and pain. Michael changed music, he changed performance, he changed culture. And though he's gone, his voice, his moves, and his influence live forever. Thank you.